I don't really want to blow my own horn about how great I am working on these digital audio tape decks, but damn, sometimes you just get lucky. Check out this oddball problem. I have another Tascam DAP1 to check out. Let's see what this one is doing. Ooh, noisy. Okay, the drum's not spinning on this one. When I hit play, the drum is not turning. Why is the drum not turning? Is it the drum itself, or is it something sticking to the tape? I have a sneaking suspicion it's the drum. We'll just force it to load. And now turn it on. Yeah, the drum itself. Has a problem. This one may not be repairable. We'll see, but I'm not going to hold my breath on this one, that this one's going to be repairable, because it's more than likely the rotary transformer or something in here is binding. We'll pull this thing apart and just see whether it's something that's jamming. Maybe a tape broke and some tape got jammed in between the rotating part of the drum and the stationary part. I don't know, but we'll find out once I get it apart. So let's just take this one apart. This one may not be one that we can save the patient this time. It just all depends. Because of course, you're not getting a drum for one of these. Actually, you know what? I might have a drum for one of these units. I have an old SL P20 that I've got two of them. I have two SLP20, which is the TAC version, and one of them is one works and one is basically a parts machine. So I think the drum is the same. So I could probably take the drum off that to make this one work. But the thing is, do I want to sell one? Do I want to sell one of my drums that I've got? It's my own machine, my own parts machine, right? Do I want to part with a part that I know that I'll never be able to replace? That's basically what it boils down to. Is these are the longer screws. And then the bottom will pop off, and so will the top. Well, when I take out the last three screws for the top will pop off, and the bottom. This one's kind of sticky. The rubberized coating on this one is just in pretty rotten shape. Okay, we'll pull the deck out. I want to examine that drum, so we'll just connect the 4 connectors on the back. And the 4 screws. undo the preamp and the 3 connectors. Okay, so this is the drum, and it is sticking. Why? That's what we got to figure out. What I don't know is it something from the bottom? Is it something on the rotor that's sticking? Like some debris between the magnet and the coils, or is it the drum bearing, or is it the rotary transformer? So we'll pop the motor coil off on the bottom and see whether the motor will turn freely, or whether the spindle will turn freely, and this will determine whether it's a problem with the motor itself. No, it's not on this side. This is just the FG pickup. Actually, the motor's up top. But oh, I see a little spring. I see a tiny little spring. Cool. I think this might be my problem. Look, right down here. What is that? That is a little spring that's fallen off something, and it's stuck to the magnet. Woohoo! It's now turning freely. Where'd that little spring come from? Or does it just drop into the thing? Oh, okay. Well, that's good news. I might have saved another. See, that's why I take these things apart. I go, rather than just say, well, it's the drum motor that's shot, it cannot be fixed, throw it out. I go that extra mile to find out why it's not turning. And here, lo and behold, I find a spring that was stuck to the magnet. That little spring there. Now where it came from, that's anyone's guess. Obviously it fell to either it fell to the mechanism somewhere, or it got dropped into the unit, which is very possible because this being a top loading machine, it could have fallen into the unit. But let's just take a look and see whether we can spot where a spring like that may have come from. There is a spring that is on this pendulum, but it's not from there because I can see the spring on there. So it may have just fallen in from the top, like it may have dropped in from the top and got in there and worked its way down and got stuck to the magnet. That's what more than likely happened. That's what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking it dropped in. You know, it fell in the top cover and just got jammed down inside there. Isn't this a simple repair? Loading belt looks okay on this one. This might be the fastest DAT repair I ever did, because looking at the gear down here, the pendulum gear is not cracked. Oh yes, it is. It's cracked, but it hasn't pulled through. It's cracked, but it has not pulled through. You can see a crack in here if I zoom the camera in. You see the crack in the gear? I'll fire a flashlight in there. Maybe that'll help. There is a crack on that pendulum gear, wherever the heck it is. Right down here. You can see it there. Right? See the crack? But the pin has not pulled through. So I'm going to stick some glue onto this right here. Stick some glue on there. Right there. To prevent that one from failing, because that's what happened on the last one where I had to take the whole mechanism apart to get at it. And this one here, they all crack, right? It's something that happens on, well, every one that I've looked at, it's happened on. I'm sure that the one that I've got, in fact, I'm sure both of the decks that I have, it's failed on as well. I just haven't gone into them. But let's just put some glue on this one to prevent it from falling apart. when it's in use. This glue is leaving a lot to be desired. It's gelling up on me. Okay, I'm going to let this dry for a bit, and fingers crossed this will prevent this gear from falling apart down the road. So let's put this one back together and see what it does. I think it'll probably be okay. So I'll reinsert the interconnect cables. Make sure I'm on camera first of all. Plug in the preamp and then drop the other wires down the back here and fish them out from below. There's one more here, there it is. Okay, reconnect the 4 interconnect plugs. I like working on these Tascam portables just because they're a little bit bigger than the Sony Walkmans, which are a nightmare to work on. Even though these ones are loaded with surface mounted caps, I haven't had any so far that have had bad caps. It doesn't mean that there won't be some at some point, but of all the ones I've worked on, I haven't had any that the caps have been bad on. But at least it's a board that it could be changed on if necessary. They're all easily accessible. I could change the preamp caps on mine, or on one of them. Okay, wires dress them. Put the barrier back in, and we'll put the screws in to hold the chassis in place and give this one a test. And I think it's going to work a lot better than it was before. It will spin up without making a loud rattling sound and actually play a tape. Then we'll put the this one's got a power supply that I gotta add to it as well, because the guy that owns it, I guess he bought these units without power supplies, so he had a couple of units with no power supply. He sent me a power supply just to attach permanently to it. Alright, let's try this one out, see whether it's going to do anything. Power. Fast forward. Excellent. Rewind. Play. In 3, 2, 1, start. this one's fixed. We'll do the same power supply mod on this one, and then I'll throw this one together and call this one done. I don't think I need to bother making a test recording. I guess I could, but I probably don't need to, just because if it's going to play, it's going to record. So we got another one of these power supplies that was shipped in with this one. The product contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects and so forth. Because everything is known to the state of California to cause cancer. So we'll cut the plug off this one as well. And like before, we'll just attach this one, feed it out through the battery case. And like before, very easy to connect this up. Try not to burn the place down with my soldering iron. Positive is here. And negative is that terminal, ground. Get the cover on it, we'll test it out, make one final test recording. Okay, one final test. Let's hit record pause. Where is it? Record. How do I do this? Stop. Record, okay. And we'll cue our recording up here, or cue up our track. Okay. Make a recording. There's the little spring that was in there. And for you guys that are wondering where'd that spring come from, because I can see people just yelling now, you didn't figure out where the spring came from. There's a spring missing from the inside of the tape deck. Something's not going to work because there's a spring missing from it, but rest assured I know exactly where the spring came from, and it is a foreign body, so to speak. It is not part of the DAT machine whatsoever, and I will show you in a moment here. So there's playback. You're wondering, where did the spring come from? Well, let's zoom the camera in a little closer here so we can understand where the spring came from. It came from right down there. Yes, it came out of a cassette. If I pull the tape out of the way, you'll see the spring I'm talking about. That is the spring there. It broke on a cassette and fell into the mechanism. And you guys thought that I didn't know where it came from. In fact, I knew exactly where it came from as soon as I hauled that spring out. When I suggested it dropped in from the top, well, it didn't drop in from the top, it dropped in from a broken cassette. Anyway, just so you guys know, that's where the spring came from that was jammed in this one and was causing this one not to function. This one's fixed. Another one saved from the recycle bin, even though it's tacky as hell. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Whenever. Bye.